Hi, everybody. First, I have to say that it's so bright, I can't see anything right now. My name is Luai Ahmed, as you've heard. I am 32 years old. I'm a writer, journalist, and content creator. I used to be Zionist. I wish that I used to be a Zionist. Sadly, that was not the case. I used to be a hardcore anti-Zionist. I used to be deeply anti-Semitic. In my local mosques, I repeated after my imams, death to Israel, death to Jews, death to Zionists, without ever having met a Jew or a Zionist before. Today, thank God, I no longer believe in that cancerous ideology that not only impacts the Jewish community, but it also impacts my community as well. As a Yemeni, it took quite a lot of trauma for me to realize that the Jewish community and Israel are not our enemy. That terrorism and anti-Semitism were destroying my own communities from within. A society that learns to hate Jews more than loving our own children is not a healthy society. And I learned this the hard way. After the 7th of October, when I saw my friends and family members celebrate the slaughter of innocent Jewish children, I decided to visit Israel for the first time. And once I did visit Israel and spent quite some time there, I learned that the Jewish community and Israelis were desperate for peace. That the vast majority of Jews and Israelis do not want war with us. They want peace, and they are very desperate for this peace. That is something that no one had ever told me until I went to Israel myself to see the truth. I then took it upon myself to try to hammer this newfound truth to my friends and family members. And since then, I've been creating content, sharing the hidden truths about Israelis and Jews that my society either dismisses or is completely unaware of. Last week, I was in the Netherlands with Stand With Us. Can we give it up to Stand With Us and Stand With Us Netherlands, Canada? I'm so deeply proud to have worked with such incredible teams in Canada and the Netherlands. California, East Coast, West Coast, you're all doing incredible work, and I'm proud to have been a part of this. At one point last week at Rotterdam University, a student told me almost verbatim, anti-Semitism is exaggerated. Jews are getting hate today because Israel is committing genocide. Even though I was in the Netherlands, that reminded me of the exact same kind of anti-Semitic ideas that I faced from my own Arab Muslim friends during October 7. But unlike back then, this time I was more knowledgeable about Israel and Jews than I was in October 2023. This time I knew exactly what to say. So I asked him, do you really think that anti-Semitism is exaggerated and that it is simply the result of the war in Gaza? He looked at me and said, well, yes. So I started referring him to something that Gen Z seems to either miss or dismiss: history. I told the student about the Moza exile. You see, in my country, Yemen, in the 7th century, the king declared the final solution for the Yemenite Jews. He ordered the Jews to be exiled to one of the hottest deserts in Yemen and for them to be locked there until they perished. I explained to this Dutch student that this happened almost 300 years ago, long before the State of Israel was even created. And because of this historical anti-Semitism, Yemenite Jews started fleeing and running away from Yemen long before the creation of the State of Israel. Yemenite Jews are de facto refugees who loved their country, Yemen, but had to flee because of anti-Semitism, persecution, and Islamic extremism. I told the student that this Islamic extremism executes gay Muslims like myself. And just like the Yemenite Jews had to flee from our dysfunctional Islamist society that thirsted for their blood for being different, I also had to flee Yemen because I was different too. He paused for a second and then said, "Yeah, but that was hundreds of years ago." He tried again to convince me that anti-Semitism today was exaggerated. 3 days after our conversation at Rotterdam University, a synagogue was set on fire in Rotterdam. The night after that synagogue was burnt in Rotterdam, merely a 40-minute drive away in Amsterdam, a Jewish school was attacked. This came as a part of a surge of anti-Semitic attacks where Jewish houses of worship and schools were attacked in the Netherlands, Belgium, Canada, and here in the free United States of America. The same unforgiving and demonizing anti-Semitism that I absorbed in the radical schools and mosques I grew up in has now found its way to modern Western liberal college campuses and societies. The same unforgiving hatred that targets Jews in the West today is the same unforgiving hatred that made the Yemeni king in the 17th century decide the destruction of the Yemenite Jews. Different centuries, same Jew hatred. In the 17th century in Yemen, the excuse for hating Jews was that they were quote-unquote impure disbelievers. In the 12th century in Europe, the excuse for hating Jews was that Jews used Christian babies' blood for rituals. And in this century, in both Yemen and Europe, the excuse for hating Jews is that they are committing genocide and oppressing Palestinians. No matter what century it is, anti-Semitism is the same. It is ignorant, it is conspiratorial, and it collectively punishes Jews for things that they are not doing. As someone who cleansed himself from this vitriolic brain cancer that believed that Israel is our enemy and needs to be eradicated, I am proud to stand today with the Jewish community that has been a victim of this Islamic extremism. I am also proud to stand with our Iranian brothers and sisters who are also victims of Islamic extremism. Let's give it up to our Iranian brothers and sisters. Iranians are not only victims of Islamic extremism has completely hijacked Iranians' beautiful country. The Islamic regime in Iran, in its anti-Semitic delusions of eradicating Israel, has occupied Iran, disrupted the region, executed minorities and women, and it has also occupied my country, Yemen, and made sure that Yemen was run by anti-Semitic terrorists like the Islamic regime in Iran. It is our duty as reformist Arab Muslims to stand with our Israeli and Iranian brothers and sisters, to reject radical Islam, to fight radical Islam. It is our duty to fight the terrorists who occupied my country, who believe that firing ballistic missiles at Jews is more important than feeding the starving population of Yemen. Anti-Semitism is the kind of brain rot that has convinced my people that it is more important to send missiles to kill Jews than to feed starving Yemeni children. Let's call it as it is. Jews and Iranians have never been at war with radical Islam. Radical Islam has always been at war with Jews, Iranians, Arabs, women, gays, minorities. Radical Islam fights Israel on 7 different fronts. Radical Islam occupied Iran, Yemen, Lebanon, Gaza. Radical Islam married my mother off at the age of 8. Radical Islam is our problem. And today, I stand here as a Yemeni who was taught to hate Jews, and I'm telling you something that radical Islamists fear the most. Jews and Israel are not our enemies. The terrorists who poison our mosques, schools, and societies are our enemies. And the day that Muslims, Arabs, Jews, and Iranians stand together against them is the day that radical Islam loses. And the day radical Islam loses is the day the Middle East will finally know peace. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.